A few days ago, we posted this video on property pledging to withdraw from your retirement account, and it already has 30,000 views and more than 100 comments. And there were many questions. So here we will basically answer all of the burning questions and also address quite a bit of very crucial and important misconceptions. Yeah, so all of that will include, for instance, can husband and wife both pledge a property? How much must I return? What if my house is not fully paid up? And all of that. Okay, then for the full question list, you can refer to the description, or I will put the chapters here so it's easier for you to jump around. Okay, so we will go straight into it. Question 1, we start with the most burning question. If my property is not paid up, can I still pledge? Yeah! So this is one of the most common misconceptions. You think that the property has to be fully paid up, no more mortgage, then I can pledge. Not true at all. And this is regardless of whether you had used cash or used CPF savings to buy the property. Okay, so the main thing is, for CPF members who have used their CPF savings to buy the property, if you log into your property ownership dashboard, you would see the principal used and then an amount there. And then you would see interest accrued and then another amount there. So basically, you use your OA to buy the property. This is in total how much you use in down payment and mortgage repayment. And then this is the 2.5% interest that has been compounded. Okay, so this altogether, we call it the P plus I. This P plus I, you know that if you sell the property, this is the amount that has to go back to CPF. So it has to go back to CPF if you sell the property, right? So as long as your P plus I here is more than or equals to the amount that you want to withdraw from the RA, can pledge. Because basically what happens is, once this is returned, if you sell the property, this is returned to CPF, then whatever that you have withdrawn, this P plus I will first go and offset this. It will return this back to the RA first, and then the balance of the P plus I will go to your OA. So as long as this is enough to return back to the RA whatever that you had withdrawn, you can pledge, regardless of whether it's on mortgage or not. Alright, then second burning question is, can husband and wife both pledge the same property? Yeah, no problem at all. Okay, so basically two things that you have to settle. Number one is both of you are owners of the property. That's first. And then secondly is the lease of the property has to last the younger owner up till they are at least age 95. So remember, in the first property pledging video, this is one of the key criteria. The lease of the property has to last the owner until at least 95. If you have two owners, it has to be the youngest owner as the benchmark. That's very important. Okay, then other than that, it's still this P plus I logic. So both of you, since you're owners of the property, it's very likely that both of you also use your own CPF to pay for the property. So both of you in your own CPF will have accrued this P plus I. So same thing, as long as each of you in your respective CPF account, P plus I, is more than or equals to what you both want to withdraw, okay, can pledge, no problem at all. Okay, but then this leads to the next question, whereby does the couple need to mutually agree in order to pledge? Okay, if let's say I want to pledge and then my P plus I is more than the amount that I want to withdraw, I don't need to care about my husband. Like, my husband doesn't need to consent to that. But then if let's say my P plus I is not enough, let's say my P plus I is only 50K, but then I want to withdraw maybe 100K from my RA. In this case, then yes, I will need his consent. So it's only, basically, it's kind of like if my pledging kind of hurts him, or it's gonna affect his interest in the property, then I do need his consent. And then both of you need to go down together to CPF board to sign the consent form. So that's how that will work. Yeah. Oh, and then typically the advice is actually, maybe you can check with CPF board first. You can call or write into them. After they say that, okay, eligible, then both of you can make your way down. Then that will be much easier. Okay, the next question. If I pledge my property, I withdraw this amount, then later I sell my property and I return back, do I also have to return 4% accrued interest back to the RA? No need. So let's say if you pledge and you take out maybe the maximum 110.2K based on this year's FRS. You take this out, then after that, if you sell your property, you just have to put this amount back into the RA. So the 4% that would have been earned in the RA if you had not taken it out, you don't have to return it back. So this is different from using your CPF OA to pay for property. That one, there's a 2.5 accrued interest. This one, to withdraw from your RA, not applicable at all. Okay, which leads us to the next question. Then, if I take it out, so I withdraw from the RA, pledged by property, then after that, if I sell my property and I put it back, will my CPF payouts, CPF life payouts change? Yes. Okay, so a few scenarios, right? If let's say initially I had the full retirement sum. If I had the full retirement sum, then by right, if I left it there, naturally, like let it naturally progress, I don't take out, I don't do anything, then probably we would have an estimated of 1730 per month in CPF life payouts. So this is based on this year's cohort. Okay, then if I had taken it out, this one I had taken it out of the RA, then definitely your CPF life payouts will drop. Yeah, because whatever that is your CPF life payouts, it's dependent on the balance in your RA when you start the payouts. Okay, so definitely if you pledge and withdraw, it will drop, which is also one of the reasons why we have to really consider whether it's suitable for you before you pledge and withdraw from your RA. Okay, then second thing, which is often a misconception whereby people think that, oh, okay, then maybe right now at age, maybe at 55, then I withdraw this from my RA. Then maybe later at 64, right before my CPF life payout starts, I put this back in. In this case, can I still get 1730? Answer is no. Precisely because you didn't have to return this 4% accrued interest. So this 1730 was calculated based on the fact that everything inside here has been rolling at 4% compounded all the way until you are 65. Then you start, then okay, you get 1730. But if let's say you had taken it out of the RA, for 9 years, this amount didn't compound at all at 4%. So even if you put this back, you will never be able to hit this amount. Yeah. Okay, then next question. What if at age 55, I have not hit the basic retirement sum, the BRS in my retirement account? Okay, so then what happens? Will you be able to pledge? So the thing is, if let's say at age 55, you have not hit the basic retirement sum, it is very unlikely that you will ever be able to pledge your property and withdraw from the retirement account. Okay, two reasons. So firstly, the reason that it has to be, so eligibility to pledge the property is you have more than the basic retirement sum. So the basic retirement sum, basically the government says that you have to at least have this, because this would basically translate to about, we say about 900 per month in CPF life payouts. So that see that, okay, this is the bottom line. So if you have a property or anything, whatever, so this is the basic living expenses that you will need to sustain your retirement lifestyle. That's why no matter what, they say, okay, we cannot compromise on this. You need to have the BRS inside. Yeah, so that's why not eligible to pledge. But then another thing is, then the next question, okay, then what if right now I don't have the BRS, but later my RA grows? Then can I pledge? Okay, so let's say this is your retirement account. So this is the BRS. This is the full retirement sum. Okay, so we know that anything, as long as your balance is above this at 55, you will be able to pledge and withdraw. But then let's say at 55, you were maybe somewhere here. And then you say that, okay, now I don't have it, but then maybe over a few years, I have 4% interest. I have 4% interest in my RA. Then it will move all the way, it will grow beyond the basic retirement sum. If by then I pledge, can I withdraw it out? Cannot. So anything that is interest earned in the RA, government grants, top-ups, all of that cannot withdraw by property pledging. So the only thing that you can withdraw is basically your CPF regular contributions. Or sometimes they say cash. So only this part you can withdraw. Okay, the next question is, then what if I continue working? Because if I continue working, then more CPF contribution will go into my RA, right? Correct. So what happens is, if you continue working, then okay, more CPF contributions will come in and fill it up. maybe then you'll hit the basic retirement sum. But then, if let's say you have bought the property using CPF, okay, so sorry, come back to this. So, but then it may not necessarily exceed the basic retirement sum. So after you hit the basic retirement sum, there is a high chance that no more CPF contributions will go in anymore. Reason being, there is this thing called an auto pledge. Okay, so this is when, because most people, you use your CPF OA to buy the property, right? So there is a principal plus interest that you will return to CPF. So what happens is, after you already hit 55 and you still cannot hit the full retirement sum, in that case, they will auto pledge your property, which means they will see it that, okay, effectively you have already hit the full retirement sum using your property. So even though there is no cash inside, to CPF board, okay, you already hit full retirement sum. Because if you sell your property, then it will go and fill up this part. So to them, it's like, okay, already meet full retirement sum. So if their assumption is you already meet the full retirement sum, then no more CPF contributions will come in anymore. Because after 55, as long as you have hit full retirement sum, then whatever RA contributions will overflow to your OA. It will no longer go back into the RA, which means that actually this part, you will basically never fill it up while you're working. Which means, or which is why I say that it's very likely that you will not be able to pledge your property anymore. There is only one exception whereby you use cash to buy the property. Meaning if you didn't use CPF to buy the property, there is nothing for CPF board to auto pledge. Which means then, okay, then more cash contributions will go in. Only if that happens, then it goes beyond BRS in cash contributions, then you pledge, then yes, you can take it out. Okay, so too many questions, so we will end part 1 here, and then we will post part 2 soon. So for some good news to clear some misconceptions, we can go to part 2 and continue.